Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you all are safe. So in the previous video, we have discussed all the type of real numbers and how to show these numbers on number line, right? So I hope you all have practiced the questions related to the topic, clear? So in this video, we are going to discuss the decimal expansion of real numbers, some operations on real numbers and some identities related to it. Clear? So let's get started. Okay, so since now you all are familiar with rational numbers, right? So let's take few examples of rational numbers and try to find out the decimal expansion of these numbers. So let's take three examples. First one is 10 upon 7. Second, 1 upon 3. Third one is 7 upon 8. Now try to find out the decimal expansion of these three. First take 10 upon 7 and find the decimal expansion of this. Now how many times will go? 1, right? The remainder will be 3. Now 4 times. Remainder will be 2. Now 2 times. Remainder will be 6. Now 8 times. Remainder will be 4. Now 5 times. Remainder will be 5, right? And now 7. Remainder will be 1. Now let's stop this process here because it will start repeating after this, right? 1.42857. After that it will start like again 142857 because here the remainder is 1 and the process will start again like 10, 7, 30, right? Okay. So let's start this, let's stop this process here and write the string of remainders. So what are the remainders here? 3, then 2, then 6, then 4, then 5, then 1, right? And what is the divisor here? Divisor is 7. Clear? Now let's try to find out the decimal expansion of 1 upon 3. What it will be like? 0.8. Here we go by 3 times. Remainder will be 1. Now again 3 times, right? And remainder again will be 1. Again 3. And again the remainder will be 1. So this process will not end here. It will go like 0.3333 and remainder will come like 111, right? So let's stop this process here and write the string of remainders. 1, 1, 1 and it will continue like this. And what is the divisor here? This is 3. Clear? Now let's try to find out the decimal expansion of 7 upon 8. Clear? What it will be like? 7 upon 8, right? 8 times. Clear? 64. Remainder will be 6. Now 7 times. Remainder will be 4. Now 5 times and it ends here and remainder will be 0. Clear? So what is the string of remainder here? 6, 4 and 0, right? And what is the divisor is? 8. Clear? Okay, so from these three expansions, you must have noticed three important things. First is either the remainder becomes 0, right? Either the remainder becomes 0 or start repeating themselves. In this, so let's understand here the remainder is 0, right? In these two examples, here is remainder 1 is repeating again and again, right? And in this also, there is also repetition but after few steps. Clear? Okay, so now second thing is the number of entries in the repeating string of remainders. The number of entries in the repeating string of remainder is always less than the divisor, right? The number of string like here is 1, 1, 1, right? And here is 6, 4, 0, right? So these are 3 entries and the divisor is 8. So divisor is greater than the number of entries of in the repeating string of remainder, right? Here is also 1 is repeating again and again, but the digit is 1 only, right? So, and the divisor is 3. So, which is also greater than the number of entries, right? And in this also, there are 6 entries, 3, 2, 6, 4, 5, 1, right? And the divisor is 7, which is greater than the number of entries. Clear? So, let's talk about third point, which says, if the remainder repeat itself, right? If the remainder repeat itself, then we also get the repeating block of digit in quotient, right? If the remainder repeat itself, then we also get the repeating block of digit in quotient. Here, remainder is 1, 1, 1. So, the block of digit in the quotient is also repeating in the point 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, right? And in this also, this is the block of digit, and this will start repeating like 142857, then 142857, right? So these are the three important points which you must have noticed from these three expansions. Okay, so you also notice that this condition will true for only rational numbers, right? So on division of rational numbers, there are mainly two things happen. Either the remainder becomes 0 or never becomes 0, right? So let's understand each case separately. Okay, so let's talk about case 1. When the remainder becomes 0, right? Okay, so in the previous example, 7 upon 8, right? We found that the remainder becomes 0 after some steps, right? So that example 7 upon 8, decimal expansion was 0.875 and remainder was 0, right? Let's take other example like 1 upon 2. Now try to find out the decimal expansion of this, right? What it will be? 0.5, right? And the remainder will be 0. 0.5, remainder is 0. Now let's take another example like 1 upon 5. And what the decimal expansion of this? 0.2, right? And the remainder is 0. 0.2, remainder is 0. Clear? Okay, so from these three examples, you have noticed that the decimal expansion of these three terminates or ends after a finite number of steps, right? So, and we call the decimal expansion of such numbers terminating. What? Terminating. Right? Okay, so let's talk about case 2. Case 2 where remainder never becomes 0, right? So if I take examples like 10 upon 3 and 1 upon 7. Now let's try to find out the decimal expansion of 10 upon 3 first. 10 upon 3. So what will be the decimal expansion of this? Remainder will be 3. Now remainder will be again 1. 1. It will go like this 3.33333, right? Now let's try to find out the decimal expansion of 1 upon 7. 1 upon 7. So it will be like 0.1 4 28. Remainder will be 2, right? Now 2 times. Remainder will be 6. Now 8 times. Remainder will be 4. Now 5 times. Remainder will be 5, sorry for that. Now remainder 49 and remainder will be 1. Now stop this process here because it will start repeating from this, right? It will start like 10 again, right? So let's stop this here. So what is the decimal expansion of 10 upon 3? 3.3333 and it's not ending here, right? It will go like this. And what is the decimal expansion of 1 upon 7 is 1.4, 0.142857 and it will again start like this. So let's stop it. So from these two examples, you have noticed that the remainder repeats itself after some stage, right? After a certain stage, remainder start repeating itself. So we call the decimal expansion of such number is non-terminating and recurring. Non-terminating, recurring. What? The decimal expansion is non-terminating, recurring. Clear? Non-terminating by it is not ending and remainder is not 0 here. And why recurring? Because remainder start repeating itself and we also get the repeating block of digit in the quotient, right? That's why it's non-recurring and non-terminating, recurring. Clear? Now let's talk about this, the block of digit in the quotient. 3.3333, right? We can also write it as 3.3 bar. This bar indicates the block of digit that repeat in the quotient, right? We can write it in a like 3.3 bar. Clear? Okay, so from this you can see that the decimal expansion of rational numbers have two things, right? First, that either it is terminating or non-terminating, recurring. Clear? So let's take few example and try to figure out which digit is terminating, which is non-terminating and recurring, right? So let's take few examples. So if I say there is a digit like x equals to 0.33333 and it's continuing like this, right? And you have to show it in the form of p by q, where q is not equals to 0, right? So let's try to find out. So let's suppose this is digit and we can write it as 0.3 bar, right? So let's take this digit here and multiply by 10 on the both side. 0.33333, right? Multiply by 10 here and multiply by 10 from the on the left hand side, right? Now it will be like 10x equals to 3.3333, right? Now if we break this 3.33 in 3 plus 0.3333, right? And here 10x. What is this 0.33? It is equals to x, right? So we can write it as x. So 10x equals to 3 plus x. Take this x to the left hand side and subtract from the 10x. 10x minus x equals to 3. This will be like 9x equals to 3. And now take 9 in the division of 3. It will be like 1 upon 3. And this is the p by q form and where q is not equals to 0. Alright. So this can be written in the p by q. That means this digit is a rational number. Right. So you can practice more examples like this and practice more and let's move on. Okay, so now we are done with the decimal expansion of rational numbers and we also discussed some examples related to it. Clear? So let's talk about the decimal expansion of irrational numbers. Let's see if I say there is a number like 1.41421356, and it's keep going like this, right? And other number is like 3.14159265 and something like this, right? In the decimal expansion of these numbers, the remainder is not coming 0, and you are also not getting any repeating digit of block of digit in the quotient, right? It's changing. No digit is repeating, right? 14156999265. It's going like that, and it's not even ending. Means remainder is not 0. So the decimal expansion of such numbers we call as non-terminating, non-recurring, right? Because the remainder is not 0, non-terminating, it's not ending, and non-recurring means there is no repetition of any digit, right? So the decimal expansion of irrational number, decimal expansion of an irrational number is non-terminating and non-recurring. Clear? And these values, this value is of √2, and this is of pi. We can also denote pi as approx value to 22/7, right? Now let's take one example here. If I say find an irrational number between 1/7 and 2/7, right? So what is the value of 1/7? 0.142857, right? And what will be the value of 2/7? Multiply this value by 2, clear? So multiply it by 2, 0.142857. What it will be like? Right? So this is the value of 2/7 and 1/7. So you know that there are infinitely many values between any two irrational numbers, right? Two rational numbers. So you can take any value between 0.142857 and 0.285714. Like I can take any value like 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 6, 7, anything you can take like 0.153 1, 3, 2, 6, 7, right? So these values are between 0.142857 and 0.285714. So these both are valid. So you can take any value between these two. Alright, so let's try to solve some more examples of exercise from NCERT. Clear? Now let's learn how to show the decimal numbers on number line. Clear? Okay, so let's suppose that there is a number like 2.665, right? And you have to show this on number line. So this is somewhere between 2 and 3. It's more than 2 and less than 3, right? So on the number line, there are numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to so on, right? And there is -1, -2, -3, -4, and up to so on. So you know that this is somewhere between 2 and 3, this portion, right? So let's magnify this portion and divide this portion in 10 equal parts, right? So let's take a number line again. Let's suppose this is 2 and this is 3. Clear? So divide this portion in 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, right? Alright, and mark it as 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9, right? So now you know that this number is between 2 and 3, but where in 2 and 3? There are 10 portions between 2 and 3. But you know that this is 2.6, right? What? This is 2.6 first. So this bar represents as 2.6, right? And but less than 2.7, right? So this is somewhere between 2.6 and 2.7. So now again magnify this 2.6 and 2.7 portion. Now again take a number line and represent it as 2.6 and this is 2.7, right? Now again divide it in 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And mark it as 2.61, 2.62, 2.63, 2.64, 2.65, 2.66, 2.67 and 2.68 and 2.69, right? Now you know that 2.6 is this and 2.7 is this number lie between these two numbers. Now what is this again? 2.66, right? So you try to find the 2.66 between this. Where is the 2.66? This. But the number is 2.665, right? This is somewhere between 2.66 and 2.67, right? So let's again magnify this portion 2.66 and 2.67, right? Let's take again a number line and mark 2.6 here, 66 and 2.67. Clear? And divide this portion again in 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? And mark them as 2.661, 2.662, 2.663, 2.664, 2.665 and 2.667, 2.668, 2. This is 6 and this is 7, right? And this is 2.668, this is 2.669. Clear? I hope this is clearly visible, right? Now you can easily figure out the number 2.665. Where is this point? This is your point, 2.665, right? Okay, so we call this process of representation of numbers on number line through magnifying glass as the process of successive magnification. What? The process of successive magnification, right? Okay, so like this, you can represent any number on the number line by using a magnifying glass, right? So from this, you can say that every real number is represented by a unique point on number line, right? Okay, so now we will talk about the operation on real numbers, right? So we know that there are some basic properties of real numbers, that is commutative property, associative property and distributive property. And the rational numbers and irrational numbers both follow these properties for addition and multiplication, right? So the properties commutative, right? Commutative property. Second one is associative, and third one is distributive, right? Okay, so these are the three laws followed by rational and irrational numbers, right? For addition and multiplication. So if we add, subtract, divide or multiply any two rational number, we will get a rational number, right? Okay, so if I talk about irrational numbers, so the sum, the difference, the quotient and the product of any two irrational number are always not an irrational number. It can be anything. It can be a rational number or it can be an irrational number, right? So if I take example like the addition of root 2 and root 2, right? And other example like multiplication of root 2 and root 3, and other example will be like root 6 minus root 6, clear? And example like root 7 upon root 7. So all these values will not give you a irrational number. Root 7 will give you 1. This is not an irrational number, right? This will give you 0. This is also not an irrational number, right? And this will give you root 6. This is a rational number, an irrational number, right? So this is not particular that it will be like a irrational number, right? It can be a rational number or it can be an irrational number. Clear? Okay, so if I take example, if I add and multiply a rational and an irrational number, let's see what happens. Example like, let's take root 3, an irrational number, right? And 2 is rational number, right? Let's add these two numbers and multiply these two. So add like 2 plus root 3 and multiplication will be like 2 root 3, right? Now you all know that root 3 is an irrational number. So this number will be non-terminating and non-recurring, right? So this is adding in a rational number and it's here multiplying with the rational number, right? So the same will be true for these numbers as well. So these are also irrational numbers, right? Because these will be non-terminating and non-recurring because of root 3, right? So we can say these are also irrational numbers. Clear? Okay, let's understand with some other examples. If I say add these two numbers, like 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 and root 2 minus 3 root 3. So let's try to add these two. So 2 root 2 plus 5 root 3 plus root 2 minus 3 root 3, right? Now add these two numbers. So take root 2 here, 2 root 2 plus root 2 and plus 5 root 3 minus 3 root 3. take root 2 as common and take it out. So root 2, and in the bracket we can write 2 plus 1 here, from here, right? And as like this, take root 3 as common, and now here 5 minus 3, right? Now solve it. 3 root 3, 3 root 2, sorry, and this will be 2 root 3. Okay, so this is also an irrational number, right? Clear? Let's take another example. Multiply 6 root 5 and 2 root 5, right? So multiply 6 root 5 multiplied by 2 root 5. So it will be like 6 multiplied by 2 and 5 root 5 multiplied by root 5. This will give you 5 and 6 multiplied by 2, right? So what will be the answer? 6 multiplied by 12 and 12 multiplied by 5 will give you 16. Alright, so this is a rational number. Clear? Okay, so let's take another example. Okay, so let's take another example. Try to divide 8 root 15 by 2 root 3, right? Two root 3. Break root 15 in 3 multiplied by 5, right? So root 3 multiplied by root 5. We can write it as, right? And upon 2 root 3. So root 3 cancel by root 3, right? And 2 cancel 8 by 4. So it will be like 4 root 5, right? Okay, so from these examples, you must have noticed few facts which are true. First is the sum and the difference of any rational and irrational number will always be an irrational number. Okay, and the second thing is the product and the quotient of any non-zero rational number and an irrational number will always be an irrational number. Okay, and the third thing is if we add, multiply, subtract or divide any two irrational numbers, then the result may be rational or irrational. Alright? Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Now let's talk about some identities of square root which are very useful in solving questions related to it, right? So let's see what are the identities. Let A and B are the real numbers, right? So the identities are, first identity is root AB equals to root A multiplied by root B, right? Second identity is under root A upon B can be written as square root of A divided by square root of B, right? Third identity is root A plus root B multiplied by root A minus root B. Now let's see what is the result of this. So it will be like A, the multiplication of root A and root B will be like minus root AB, right? And the multiplication of root B and root A will be root AB, right? And the multiplication of root B and root B is minus B. Clear? So what is the final result? This root AB cancelled by negative root AB. So the final is A minus B. Clear? Now let's see fourth identity, which says A plus root B multiplied by A minus root B. Right? Now let's see what is the result of this. A square minus plus A root B and minus alright minus A root B, clear, and minus B, clear. So A root B cancelled by minus A root B, right? So what is the final? A square minus B, clear. Now let's talk about fifth identity, which is root A plus root B multiplied by root C plus root D, right? So what is the result of this? Root A multiplied by root C, that is root AC, plus multiply the root A with root D, it will be AD. Now multiply root B by root C, this will be root BC, and now multiply root B by root D. So root BD. So this is the final result, right? Now let's talk last and final identity, that is root A plus root B whole square of root A plus root B. So what is the whole square of A plus B? That is the whole square of A plus B, like A square plus 2AB plus B square, right? So we will solve it like this. So what is the in root A is so root A is as A and root B is as B, right? So the square of A, that means square of root A will be A, and this 2 multiplied by root AB, and the square of root B is B, right? So this will be the final result. So these are the identities which will help you in solving some questions related to it. Okay, so try to solve some examples related to these identities, right? So let's take example. Simplify root 5 plus 2 and root 7 plus 5, right? Let's try to simplify it. So multiply these two, root 5 plus 2 and root 7 plus 5, right? So multiply root 5 with root 7, this will give you root 35, right? And multiply root 5 with 5 will give you 5 root 5, right? Now multiply 2 with root 7 will give you 2 plus root 7, right? And multiplication of 2 and 5 will give you 10. Okay, so this will be your answer. Okay, so let's take other example. Simplify root 11 plus root 7 multiply by root 11 minus root 7, right? So let's try to find out the result of this. Root 11 plus root 7 and multiplied by root 11 minus root 7, right? So multiply root 11 with root 11 will give you 11 and multiply root 11 with root 7, it will give you 77, and again multiply the here negative sign. All right, now multiply root 7 with root 11, this will also give you positive under root 77, right? Now multiply root 7 with the negative root 7, will give you negative 7, right? So under root 77 cancel by minus under root 77, right? So the answer will be 11 minus 7. So this is the 4, right? Okay, so like this, you can also try other examples as well. So try and practice some other questions, right? Okay, so I hope these identities are clear to you now, right? So there are some numbers which you need to rationalize, right? So while we rationalize the number so that there will be no rational number in the denominator of the number, right? So let's see how we rationalize, right? Okay, so if I say there is a number like 2 upon root 3 and you need to rationalize it, right? So let's multiply with root 3 in the numerator and the denominator of the number, right? So what will you get? 2 root 3 upon root 3 multiplied by root 3 will give you 3, right? So this is the rationalized form of 2 upon root 3. This is the rationalized form, right? Here, let's take other example. If I say rationalize the 1 upon 2 plus root 3. So you will multiply this by this digit in numerator and denominator, right? But you have to change the sign. If there is negative sign, you have to change it plus, and if there is plus, you have to change it in negative, right? Because it will not then eliminate the irrational number from the denominator, right? So let's multiply with 2 minus root 3 and here also 2 minus root 3. So you can see this is the form of a plus b into a minus b. So what is the identity says a plus b and a minus b? This will be like a square minus b square, right? So it will be like the square of 2 minus square of root 3, right? So here 2 minus root 3 upon square of 2 is 4 minus square of root 3 is 3. So this will be like 2 minus root 3 upon 1. Matlab, there is no name. You put it or not. So the final result is 2 minus root 3. Right? Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. Now there are some laws of exponents for the real numbers. Like if you see any number like 17 square multiplied by 17 to the power 5, right? Examples. All right. Or if there is a number like 6 to the power 2 and divide by 6 to the power 3, right? What is the answer of these two? Or if there are some numbers like 2 to the power 3 multiplied by 3 to the power 3, right? So how will you solve these type of numbers where there are some exponents over these numbers, right? exponent means powers to the number, right? Okay, so there are some identities for these type of numbers. So let's talk about the identities. So the first identity is if the base is same and the power is different, right? Let's suppose a is a real number, a is any real number here, right? And m is exponential multiplied by a to the power n. So if there are base is same and the power is different, then we will add the exponents, right? We will add these two powers and take base as 1, right? We write just once and add these two powers, m plus n, right? Now let's talk about second identity, which says if a to the power m divided by a to the power n, means there is base is same, right? Okay, meaning the base is same here and the power is different, right? So in the division, we can solve it as we can subtract these two exponents, right? M minus n. Now let's talk about third identity, which says if there is a number and a power is n and the whole power is n, right? So we can solve it as, okay, so we can multiply, right? We can multiply these two powers. So a to the power m multiplied by n, right? So the fourth identity is a to the power m and b to the power m. So in these three identities, there are same base and the powers are different, right? But in the fourth identity, there is different base and same power. So in this case, we will do it like a multiplied by 2 to the whole power is n. We take it power as 1 and multiply these bases, right? So these identities will help you to solve questions related to it. Let's try to solve the questions first. Now you know the base is same, the power is different. That means a to the power m multiplied by a to the power n. How will you solve it? A to the power m plus n. Now 17 square multiplied by 17 to the power 5. How can you write it? 17 to the power 5, 2 plus 5, right? 2 plus 5, meaning 17 to the power 7, right? Now, second example, 6 to the power 2 divided by 6 to the power 3. The second identity, a to the power m upon a to the power n. Base is same, the exponent is different, right? So we subtract the exponent powers, right? So we subtract these power and 6 to the power 2 minus 3. So 6 to the power minus 1 and we can write it as 1 upon 6, right? Now let's talk about this third example. 2 to the power 3 multiplied by 3 to the power 3. This is the fourth identity where the base is different and the power is same, right? How we solve it? Okay, so how we can solve it? Multiply the base and take the power as 1, 3, right? So 2 multiplied by 3, 6 to the power 3, right? If I take example of this fourth, we can write as 5 to the power 2 whole power is 3. How will you solve it? Multiply the powers, right? 5 to the power 2 multiplied by 3, it will be 5 multiplied by 6, right? So now this way you can solve the questions related to these powers. So these are some laws of exponents. So we call them laws of exponents, right? Call them laws of exponent. Clear? And remember one thing, if there is any term with the power 0, so the answer will always be 1. So the 0 as power to any number will give you answer as 1. And if there is a number like 1 upon a to the power n, right? So you can write it as a to the power minus n, right? So remember these two facts also. Clear? Okay, so we are done with this chapter. Number system is completed here. So I hope all the concepts are clear to you now. Try to solve questions related to all the concepts of NCERT, right? So if you have any doubt or any query, you can ask me in the comment section and put it in the Telegram group, right? So keep learning, keep practicing. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.